Morning, brew tubers. I'm about ready to start measuring out some grain, and a lot of it. 25 pounds in a 4.5 gallon batch today, making a really big imperial stout, biggest one I've ever made, loosely based on Johnny Lieberman's fourth black wine, but a little bit different because I don't have the same hops and not all the same malts. But anyhow, it's going to be a big beer. Going to fill up my whole mash tun, and I'm going to mash it low to get it more fermentable, and I'm going to use the yeast cake from the coffee porter that I brewed last week. And the cat does not like this idea for some reason. Go away, Gato. Shut up. Anyhow, time to get measuring the grain, and I got the strike water heating already. So let's get going. Oh, look at all the grain in that hopper. I didn't know if it was all gonna fit. Anyhow, here we go. And there's the cracked grain. One thing you have to take note of when you're cracking grain is just because it fit in the bucket before you cracked it doesn't mean it's all going to fit in the bucket after. It gets air in it while it's being cracked and takes up more room, so I actually had to use 2 buckets to get this batch cracked. Alright, wish me luck, folks. There's a lot of grain to fit in this mash tun. Stir this really good to make sure I break up all these dough balls. It's gonna have to be a really thick mash to make it fit in the tun and to allow me to sparge enough. So I've got my bucket heater heating up the sparge water, and it does take a long time, but it's going to be okay. I'm just going to leave it in there while I'm mashing, and I'm going to head out to the grocery store and run some errands and just let it mash and let my sparge water heat up. So here's the sugar I'm going to use in this batch. This is Demerera Sugar, which is basically just pretty much unrefined cane sugar. So you know, it's not bleached or anything basically, and still has whatever kind of residual parts of the cane and animal parts and workers' body parts make it into the cane juice. Anyhow, hopefully this will do a couple things. It'll help dry the beer out a little bit and maybe give it a little bit of molasses character. So it has been 2 hours of mashing now while I was running errands, and we doughed in at 150, folks, and we're still there. That's what's nice about having such a huge grain bill, or one nice thing about that is that grain kind of insulates itself, so it doesn't drop temp when you have the cooler full of grain. There's the first runnings. Black. I went ahead and dumped my sugar in just now because I want it to dissolve so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. So I've encountered a little bit of a hiccup here in that my target gravity, pre-boil gravity, I am way below. I'm only at about 25 brie and I should be up around 29 with the volume I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sparge a little bit more, and then I'm just going to extend my boil time and boil it down to reach my target OG. So here's my hop bill for today. That is 2 1/4 ounces of Chinook pellets, which will be a 90-minute addition once we get to that point in the boil. And this is 2 ounces of Cascade and 2 ounces of Glacier. These are homegrown, the ones I got from Casey Brooks up at Hopping Frog. And so that's 4 ounces there for the 10-minute edition. So we're pretty much going to max out our IBUs on this beer, but that's okay because it's going to need it. So while I'm boiling, I'm going to rack over my porter here. It's the coffee porter I brewed last weekend. And I'm going to use this yeast cake for the Imperial Stout that I've got boiling right now. And I did draw myself a little bit of a sample. I think I might have overdone it with the coffee malt. It is super, super roasty and a little bit astringent, but we'll see. It's only been 6 days, so we'll see what happens with some time. And I'm actually not going to just pitch the other beer onto this cake. I'm going to scoop some of it out into the other fermenter. So I just checked my gravity again, and I'm about where I needed to be pre-boil in the first place after an hour of boiling to deal with the extra sparging. So that's a struggle with a beer this big, and one that I've never had because this is the biggest beer I've ever brewed. So we're going to call this the 90-minute mark now, and you can go to the bittering hops. Alright, 10 minutes left in the boil, and in go our flavor hops, our Cascade and Glacier. I checked our gravity reading, and we're actually off the charts, so I'll just have to pull a hydrometer sample at the end and see where we end up, because my refractometer only goes up to 30 brie, and this is currently higher than that. Alright, now we're chilling. Alright, well there we are. We are at about 1.136, and the sample is at 108 degrees, so with correction that puts us at about 1.144. So I did come up a little bit shy of where I was shooting for with the recipe, but that's okay. Still really strong. There it goes. Already got the yeast in there. Wish that yeast luck. It's a big job ahead of it. Cheers.